Whenever I hear this story about the one lost sheep, I think about the 99 who were left. Put yourself in their position. The shepherd goes off to look for Dolly, who's always going on walkabout, and leaves us to care for ourselves. He hasn't even got a dog to keep us in check. And there are wolves about, bears even, maybe lions for goodness sake. Eventually he turns up with Dolly Daydream over his shoulders and invites all his mates over for a celebration and rejoicing. Doesn't give us as much as a thank you for not wandering off as well. Okay, I'm taking a few liberties, but I do think there's a point to be made here. To ask ourselves, is Jesus talking about the one sheep, lost and then found? Or is he indeed really talking about the rest of the flock who stay put? When we look at Jesus' encounters with people he meets as he goes about his ministry, we have to consider his audience. Is he in private dialogue with just one person? Or are there others listening in? For example, the well-known story of the Canaanite woman at the well in Matthew 15. A Gentile who pleads with Jesus to cure her tormented daughter. Jesus tells her that he's been sent only to the lost sheep of Israel, the Jewish people. He then has a bit of back and forth with her, and she responds with the retort that even the dogs eat the crumbs from under the master's table. Jesus tells her that by her faith she is saved. Was the message for the woman herself? Or was it for the disciples listening in who'd urged him to send her away? For what audience? I'll come back to those questions after we've sung. So who are the audiences in today's encounter? Luke tells us in verse 1. There were tax collectors and sinners, and there were Pharisees and scribes. Two audiences. Now, if we regard the lost sheep parable as being about the one sheep, Dolly, as I called her with not much originality, then we could conject that Jesus is telling the first group, don't worry, I have come as the good shepherd to find you that are outsiders and lead you to salvation. But verse 1 also tells us that this group was coming near to listen to him. They didn't need to be found. They weren't lost. They'd already been drawn to him. The word had spread. So if we are not sure the parable is about the one sheep, is it about the 99? Is that the audience Jesus has in mind? I think it is. I think Jesus is saying to the elders, the one who think they found salvation through the law and treat everyone else as beneath them, he's saying to them, I'm not here for you, chosen ones fixed in your smug complacency, so sure of yourselves that you don't need to move or re-evaluate. I've come for these others, the flawed, the imperfect, the stumbling, and those you see as different, but I see as loving and loved. The parable of the lost sheep is the first of three in Luke on the topic of lost and found. The third is the prodigal son, and that's for another time. We've heard as well today the second, the lost coin. Jesus moves on to this story without a break. Again, it's for the benefit of the scribes and Pharisees, the audience to one side. The woman in the parable doesn't make a cursory look for the lost coin. Jesus emphasizes the intensity of the search. The woman lights a lamp and sweeps the house from top to bottom until she finds it. And I like to think this is the intensity with which Jesus searches us out. I've come up with a modern variation. If you wear contact lenses and one pops out of your eye, do you think, well, I've got another set at home, so I forget about it? Or do you look around from above, perhaps moving a few things with your foot, not really expecting success? Or do you get down on your knees, patting the floor gently, head low, squinting at an angle to see if the light might reflect off it? Of course you do. And that is just like how Jesus searches us out, whoever we are. Amen.